This is September 27th, 2021. I'm Diane Barrett, and I'm here with the BE Collection interviewing Sandy Feisler. Thank you for being here.
Oh, sure. Thanks for having me.
So let's start with some simple questions. Your occupation, B?
Well, I'm retired now, but prior to that, I was a park ranger with East Bay Regional Parks in the Bay Area. Mm-hmm. And I worked specifically at the end at a park called Garin Park in Hayward.
And you mentioned you had other occupations also.
Yeah. And prior to that, I had my own garden maintenance business called A Woman's Touch Gardening in the Bay Area here that I did, I think 23 years before I was ready for a change and decided to give it a shot. Although also during that time, I kept running into an old school teacher from middle school that every time she saw me, she'd say, "Oh, when are you going to come work for the park district?" So the last time I saw her, I said, "I'll give it a chance, a try."
So was it a good decision?
Yes, it was. I did like having my own business. Mm-hmm. At the end, I had 38 people that I did monthly.
Wow. And I hire you. We could use that.
Oh,
I hire you. Yeah.
It's
hard to find women doing that business.
Yeah, but it was interesting here in Castro Valley. I knew of when I first started, there was 3 other women doing the same business. Wow. And actually a good friend of mine who brought her business over from across the bay, she just retired and she turned 70 and she loved it also over here.
How many employees did you have on that business?
It was mainly me, myself, and I.
Oh my God.
And I had always done yard work. Even I never liked the way my dad did the yard. So that's how I got most of my income. I was doing our own yard. So and she had a truck and I had equipment and we ran an ad and somebody called.
Good.
And but most of the time after she stopped, after about, 5 years or so, she moved out of state and I just continued on. And I would occasionally have someone's kid work with me, or maybe somebody thought it would be fun to come do gardening. And so they would work with me, but most of the time.
Short time.
Yeah, very short time.
Oh, this hurts.
Yeah, it it does now.
You can feel your past gardening experience.
Yeah, but once you do it for so long, I was in really good shape and I was still in my 50s. Mm-hmm. So it was a good career. And after all those years, there was only maybe 5 days that I wish I was doing something else.
Mm-hmm. So, that's good. That's a good statement.
Yeah. So
what was your next job like?
The job before that was a backpacking and ski shop. And it was really a fun job. I did that for about 8 years, I think. We were encouraged to backpack and ski and teach it. And it was a lot of fun. And then prior to that, probably my main career is I worked at Jimco. And I worked with them for 5 years. And it was a good job too. But and the nice thing about the Jimco job and also the backpacking and ski shop is they were retail clerks. So even though I was only making, I think when I started Jimco, $2 an hour, at the end, I'm getting a retirement from them because of retail clerks. Yeah.
Wow, that's great, huh?
Yeah. It's a small one, but it's good.
Doesn't matter. Were you surprised by that?
I had an inkling that maybe I would have one, but then all of a sudden I got a letter in the mail saying that I did, and for me to contact a place in Walnut Creek that I went to and signed up, and then I started collecting. I got that prior to even getting anything else. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
When you're young, you don't think of those things. My mother said, "No, you can't change that."
Yeah.
Retirement.
Oh, I know. But it's, being a gardener, I would have only had to rely on my Social Security. So it was nice, even though I only put 13 years into East Bay Regional, I got an okay at retirement. Mm-hmm. And it worked out good.
Good. Yeah. So where were you born?
I was born in Albany, California, but we lived in San Leandro. And so I've lived in San Leandro, San Lorenzo, and then Castro Valley. So I've lived in a pretty tight area. Although I went to, I think it was like 4 different grammar schools growing up because of who was babysitting me.
So what did your parents do?
My mom worked at Western Electric, and my dad worked at Myers Drum Company in Emeryville. They reconditioned 55-gallon drums.
Huh.
They were both from Arkansas, but they didn't meet till they got out here. And they both, in the beginning, when they were in their late teens, early 20s, they worked in the shipyards. And my mom was a Rosie the Riveter in the shipyard.
Oh.
Welder. Yeah.
That's great, huh?
And then from there, she got her job at Western Electric.
Are they still living?
No, they've been gone about 25 years now. My mom died at 70, and my dad died 1 month later, and he was 73.
Huh.
So
right after your mother. Huh.
What's that?
They were close in their death.
Yes, they were really close. They were really close.
Were they close in life too?
Yeah, they really were.
Huh.
They were. They had, they got sick, and they went pretty quick. They both had moved back in with me. My mom moved. They came in November 3rd, and they were both gone by the end of January.
Wow.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you took care of them. Did you have siblings? Do you have siblings?
No siblings. I'm an only child.
Are you? Huh.
Yeah. And it's funny because both my mom and dad are from a large family, and I don't know my dad's side as well as my mom's because they all eventually came to California. But a lot of her siblings had only one child.
Huh.
And then the other ones would have 3 or 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a lot of cousins that were single, were only children.
So that's good. You didn't feel so isolated then.
Oh, no. And we were really close with my mom's family. They all moved around this area from Redding, Chico, San Mateo, Fremont. We lived at the time probably in San Lorenzo. And so we all got together. But slowly they all moved to California and got jobs.
Good place.
Yeah.
So when did you become aware of your sexuality being different than?
Probably when I was in my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was married at the time, and I had a daughter, and I just felt like something was, something was different, and I decided I would explore that. Yeah. And so I ended my marriage and went from there.
And how old was your daughter when you did that?
I think she was probably around 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was 3. And so
did you marry right out of high school?
No, I think I was 23 when I got married, and then I had my daughter when I was 28. And then, like I said, I was married for I think a little over 7 years.
And how did you communicate with your husband that you were going to leave the relationship?
I think we were probably struggling with our relationship a little bit, and, tried to go to counseling, but I already had I really felt like I'd already kind of made up my mind that I needed to move on. And so he ended up meeting someone pretty quickly, and after a short time moved to Georgia. Uh-huh. And so Erin and I just stayed here, which was good because I didn't, want her to go. Right. And it just seemed to work out okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Where does she live now?
Oh, she is close by. She's about 2 miles away. Mm-hmm. And so Olivia and I see her and my grandson quite a bit, which is nice.
Was
And
he the one in the picture?
yes,
Okay.
he is. He's a good boy. He's got a big, huge sense of humor, just like his mom, silly, and his dad.
So if you think that we're trying to record our past to inspire the future,
Yeah,
I think getting married at a young age is something that's difficult for lesbians, and we think maybe we should just do that.
yeah,
And then outside of having children, we really regret that we had done that. I would think if this could inspire anyone, if they'd listen, they'd say, well, maybe I don't have to get married.
yeah. Well, I think back then, I felt like you just felt like that's kind of what you did.
Exactly.
You were eventually going to get married, and all your friends were getting married, and so you just kind of did the same thing.
Mhm.
And I know when I just dealing with being a lesbian, it was like I couldn't even say the word back then.
I couldn't either.
I know it was like I just feel the way I feel. Why does it have to be called something? So I went to therapy and tried to figure stuff out, and it helped. And then it helped once you get your friends that you end up hanging out with, and the more people you're exposed. I would go out to functions where there'd be other women, just to just try to be figure it out and realize that you weren't the only one.
So did you meet a woman that inspired you to move out of your marriage?
Yes, I did. I
But
did.
that was helpful.
Yes. Yeah. It was like a light went off, and I thought, oh, this is how it's really supposed to feel.
Are there any homosexuals that you're aware of in your biologic family?
There are, not on my mom's side, but my dad's side.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly only can think of one. My one cousin in Arkansas became a designer and eventually moved to Florida and was a designer. And my mom was, when they eventually moved back from California to Arkansas when they retired, and she was real close with this cousin. And but I don't know for sure, but I think he died from AIDS.
Oh.
No one really ever said, but and it was the weirdest thing too, because they had a service for him in Arkansas, and it was my dad's sister's son.
Did she know you were a lesbian at that time?
I don't think so. I didn't come out really to her till, unfortunately, really late. And when I did, I realized I'd lost a lot of time with my mom that I could have had because I was sheltering who I was.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
how did she handle it when you did come out?
well, I told her, and she said, "Why didn't you tell me?" And I said, "Well, I was afraid you wouldn't love me anymore." And she goes, "Oh, I could never not love you."
How nice.
And so it was really nice. And then it was so funny. We went to a cousin's house the next day, and they have a big house, and they have a cabin in Tahoe, and all this fancy stuff. And my mom was acting funny, and I said, "Mom, why are you acting so? What's wrong?" And she goes, "I'm just afraid you'll never have any of these nice things." And so I said, knowing their relationship and how awful their relationship is, I'd rather have nothing than have all those things. So don't worry,
I can take care of myself, right?
Exactly. That's always been a thing for me. It's like when they moved to Arkansas, my dad's like, you could come with us. You could have a pool and horses and all this stuff. And I was an only child, but I never felt like I was super spoiled. I usually was mowing the lawn or cleaning the carpet or doing something to keep myself busy. And I because my dad said, it's going to be hard if you stay here. And I said, that was just what I needed my dad to say. And I'm like, I'm going to be fine. The only regret I've had was I didn't beg him to stay and for them not to leave. At least that's what my mom wished I had it done. But, I was 19, and I thought, I had a place a friend from Jimco needed a roommate. They had a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a swimming pool and
Whoa.
$90 a month. I said, I'll go for it.
I have a pool.
Yeah. So, I mean, I really moved into a situation where I had a job. I was going to junior college at the time. And that was a stipulation too with my parents that they would help me with my gasoline and my car insurance and pay for any schooling expense if I stayed in school. And I did.
Good.
Yeah.
So, and your father, did he know about your sexuality?
I never really had that conversation with him.
Mhm.
I think more was osmosis with him, probably. He was a really nice guy. He was a nice man. And after my mom died, and he knew his health, he had emphysema really bad from cigarette smoking. And actually, the company he worked for, he was around a lot of chemicals and stuff. I just remember him saying to me, just pretend I'm not here and live your life the way you live your life. And so I kind of always took that as him.
I'm on my own.
Yeah. I always felt like during this whole time, I felt like my daughter was the one that was super duper accepting.
Was she?
Because as she grew up, after her dad moved away, and I started getting friends that I river rafted with or camped with, she was always there, and usually she'd bring a friend. And so she just grew up with all my friends. So they've known her for a very long time.
We have a daughter.
Yeah.
Who also knows all our friends.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean,
it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm even, my relationship with Livia is accepted with my ex-husband and his wife.
Mhm.
And when they come out for a visit, we sometimes socialize together, and it's just not a big deal. It's just who it is and who we are.
So when did you have that aha moment with Livia? You said, okay.
Oh, well, we met at what's it called? It was an awards thing at PFLAG in Newark. And my cousin's husband at the time was playing in a band with all the general manager, the mayor at this PFLAG award. And since I already kind of knew something was up, I, saw who it was they were talking about. And she was really cute. She had really short, little spiky hair. And she got up and she gave a speech for an award. She played the piano, and I'd never had anybody in my life that played piano and, could give a speech and all that kind of fun stuff. And so I think, I felt an attraction right off the bat. So it was a good setup.
Who made the first move outside of your family?
What's that?
Who made the first move outside of your family?
Oh, I don't know. I think it was kind of mutual.
Not good.
Yeah. It took me a long time to ask her out, though, after I met her. I really wasn't a big dater kind of person. I was pretty comfortable with all the friends I camped with and went to dances in the San Jose area with, and nobody really dated each other or anything. So I was a little shy. It took me a long time to finally call her.
I think that friendship exposure is a good way to come out.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're sort of looking around, see how it's done.
Yeah. And, especially going to the dances back at, I think it was Hamburger Mary's in San Jose. It was just a lot of fun. And I was running into these friends that I had met through a Grand Canyon river rafting trip. That really started a lot for me.
In your forest ranger job, what do you think was a challenging moment for you?
The most challenging most challenging thing was really having to commute to a job and work for somebody else, have a boss.
Right.
And a boss that was a little lecherous and I didn't know if something was going on, nothing bad happened, but I'm just saying that it was just hard to, it was really hard to know where I stood and what maybe my rights were, and just actually just giving up my career as a gardener,
Right.
and being self-employed. That was tough.
So what's your endeavor now and where after retirement, now that you're in it?
Oh, well, I've been trying to get into golf again. I started playing golf in the 90s because I wanted to get prepared for retirement. So, but unfortunately, my friend that I was playing golf with, that I actually knew from high school, her and her husband just moved away. So I got to find another person to play golf with. But, Livy and I have a cabin in the mountains, so I go there a lot.
I know, I talked to you after you were there, I think.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, no,
great.
I love it up there. It's a place that I've been dragging my friends for years prior to even having a cabin. They called it the campsite to hell.
So if you knew that you were going to die tomorrow or soon, what would you like to be remembered for?
Oh, the campsite to hell? No. I think
Love that place.
I know that my love for nature and being outside, I think probably my whole life, and being able to share that with all my friends that I've acquired through my lifetime, that I've been able to take to places like that, showing them, let's go skiing, let's go do this. I just hopefully just inspiring everybody to get outside with me and go do stuff.
Freedom.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to be remembered for.
Yeah. And hopefully that I was, a good mom, a good friend, a good wife.
So, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. And thank you, Diane.
Okay.
All right.
Good evening. Thanks.
You too. Talk to you later.
Bye.